and Podlord and Blasey, and they're all super creative.
Oh, it's funny you
dudes.
mentioned that name. Podlord. Okay, let's talk about this. So when Disconnected came around, it was essentially, it was essentially came about because House Phone saw that AD had his own show on Wednesdays, and so he figured, I'm gonna try to do my own thing on Thursdays, and so he brings in his own cast of people, whether it's Yuri, Blasey, whatever. I don't remember exactly how the crew grew, but it's we agreed, I think, to pay him, Blasey, and Yuri to do the show, and then at a certain point he starts bringing Podlord on more and more. And in terms of me and Podlord, I've known him, I guess, since the early days of No Jumper, because he's just always been friends with House Phone, 2016, 2017, something like that. Always just seeing him at shows and stuff. Always thought he was, chill, whatever. We weren't best friends or anything like that, but we were always cool. And but there was never any time where I told House Phone that I was into the idea of having Podlord on camera or anything. That was 100% him. And so pretty early on, Podlord starts asking for money, and we're just nah. The show's not doing that great. We're already losing money on it. And then also on top of that, us from just watching it, we didn't really feel like he was a good addition to the cast. Now, it's probably kind of our fault in a sense, because we, in terms of developing the Wednesday show, the Thursday show, we just kind of let people do whatever, and we don't really have any control over it or try to insert ourselves too much. So the Podlord thing and us kind of just saying we weren't going to pay him, that was just the one thing that we sort of said is we're not going to do it. And then they removed him from the show. House Phone removed him, right, at a certain point?
Yeah, well, Blasey.
Okay. And so, and then, he's been on the show more recently, I guess. And then, I don't know. It's he tried to make it last night it was all about the Destiny thing, which it really wasn't. That was maybe sort of a nail in the coffin, but it's just a lot of stuff. It's just the thing with Smack was kind of annoying to me. I wasn't really feeling that. What?
I saw Flacco talk about this. I've been watching a lot of Flacco's reaction videos recently. I think he really found his niche. He's funny.
How come he don't stutter on there?
I know, right? Well, I think maybe he cuts it up or something.
He definitely cuts it at least a little bit, but I just noticed it doesn't happen on there.
He was talking about this, and he said,
reaction of a reaction. I've never seen no shit like that in my life.
Funny. But he said that you might talk about this on Tuesday, where Podlord said that we were both attacking Destiny on that phone call, and then he got fired, and then also with the Smack thing. Even Smack says that he's a little bit more upset at Toke, but in reality, it was both of us there, and he was bringing up how it seems unfair that he was fired and I wasn't.
Right. Well, Yuri, this is the thing.
And I'm not trying to get fired here. I'm just bringing up what the audience is saying.
Yuri, I like you. That's the difference. I never wanted him on camera. And this is what sucks, is that people will be friends, acquaintances, whatever. We'll be cool, and then we'll give him a shot. We're all right, yeah, we'll let him try out being a co-host on one of these shows, or we'll have him, do some coverage for us one time, or we'll let him sit on the news one time. And then if it doesn't keep happening, they get offended and they get mad, and at a certain point they realize, oh, it would be more beneficial for me to while out and make a video and try to get some views and some clout off of this situation than to just continue to stay down and be a cool, normal person, which is 100% the case with Podlord, because we never told him that we wanted to be on camera. He was always just our friend, so we were cool. We went to New York with him doing that show and everything. And he he obviously wanted to be down, but we weren't, really extending the invitation in the way that he wanted to. So now he's on a tirade and he's got to go to war with us and everything. And it's just it's so predictable, and it's so common because it just happens over and over and over. This is my main question. How do you quit a job that you never had? We never paid you.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't quit. You were hanging out on a live stream, and this is my whole thing, is now he wants to say, oh, Adam's a racist. You were hanging out for 6 years trying to get an opportunity with somebody who you think is a racist. Do you seriously think that people are going to believe you? Do you seriously think because that makes you look so much worse than it makes me look. Even if I was a racist, you hanging out trying to get an opportunity with a racist, just because you're that thirsty for clout, looks crazy. And the moment
Make sure you're telling me you're not racist.
I'm not racist. The moment when you decide that you want to go on this little rampage or whatever is when. The moment when we tell you that we don't want you on the podcast anymore. How convenient. How convenient that you decided to stand up against this racist white monster at the exact time that we let you go. Well, I mean, could we really let you go since we weren't paying you? But, you know, we told him that we didn't want Disconnected to go in that direction, whatever.
And
so
it's like I love Toki's my best friend, but I like with that live stream, it's like I can't tell him how to feel or whatever it is, because the way he feels is that he's been fired twice, and this time has been unfair because the Destiny thing was brought up or whatever. So in his perspective, it seems unfair, and that's why he's so bitter and mad about it. I'm not gonna, and I couldn't call him or tell him like not to feel any type of way. It's like he already felt like that.
we're not trying to blame you.
No, but Yuri, being someone who has actually been fired from here, who has had a job here before, do you not see this like
Yuri
difference
got
between
fired?
multiple
That's
times?
news to me.
Multiple times, but do you not see like what you were doing here and what your contributions were and how those were reciprocated by us and like how that makes you an employee and like what the different relationship is and like how significantly different that is?
It's difficult. I don't know. It's interesting thing to thread sometimes is like the relationships of an older person or like more mature person, especially business relationships and all that
But
stuff.
I respect you because you were someone who was doing a job for, because we're friends or like, you know, acquaintances at the shop and everything. You're doing the little intern thing, whatever. Then over time, it slowly like turns into more of a real job. You're in the office every day. You're doing the editing and everything. And then at a certain point, realistically, it just wasn't really working. And we told you and you were cool about it, and we were able to continue to be friends, continue to do stuff on camera, which I just like value that a lot in people at this point in my life, is people who are able to see the separation between a job and a friendship, you know? And even like me and AD, when we have had like big in-depth conversations about like, you know, with us just kind of disagreeing or talking about how, you know, things might work out in the future, he said something to me a bunch of times, which really means a lot to me, which he says, I see you as my brother, and if we're not working together, it's all good. Like, you know, and and he wants to keep working No Jumper. He wants to keep doing shit, and I appreciate that a lot about him. But I really appreciate that he made that clear to me, because there's just so many fake people out here just waiting for an opportunity, and then as soon as they realize the opportunity is not coming, they decide that the opportunity now is to make a 8-hour live stream talking shit, saying a bunch of shit that a million people already said. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to come on here and lie and act like I think Pablo is the worst dude in the world. That was like, I wouldn't have been letting him come on and hang out and be on camera and stuff if I thought he was the worst dude in the world, which he now has decided that he wants to tell everybody I'm the worst dude in the world. But the only thing that I wanted in terms of like control over the podcast was I just didn't really want him to be on camera. And he makes it all about the Destiny thing, because that seems like, oh, look, it's unfair. Yuri is still around, but I'm not. And so therefore it's racist or it's just unfair, whatever. It's like, no, dude, like we've always appreciated having Yuri on camera. We never asked you to be on camera. And if he was like a little bit more grown up, he would be able to hear that and just be, okay, that's cool. Like I'll still be chill or whatever. But instead it's like he just sees more value in making a hate stream.
So
and
basically, to make it clear, you didn't
transparent.
like what Yuri did too, but you like Yuri.
I mean, I'm not even gonna I'm not taking some super strong stance against the way you guys talked about Destiny, because I did think that the way Destiny talked about Housephone's mom in the first place was fucked up too. It's more just that like listening to Potlord talk about the Destiny thing just really reminded me of how much I don't believe he's meant to be in front of a camera. Like, I just don't believe in you in that regard. And clearly you believe in yourself and you have your own live stream and that's great and everything. I don't want to invest in you becoming an online personality. And you'd think that somebody would be able to like hear that and be okay with that. You know, it's just not like, there's a lot of people who work here that aren't really on camera, who maybe some percentage of them wants to be on camera, but they're just like, you know, they get it. Like Adam doesn't really see it for me. And that's, they accept that and they're cool with that. And it's like, not everybody has to be on camera to be friends with me. And not everybody has to be on camera to be cool with No Jumper as a crew and a group of friends.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's just all I really wanted to say, is just how pathetic I thought that whole thing was. It's just so unbelievably transparent. And I feel like most of the fans get it.